Hey everybody, welcome to number 11. Holy cow, can you guys believe that? We're almost done with the first quarter of videos. Today we're going to be talking about the teres major, minor, the triceps, the deltoid, and that kind of all goes in the same shoulder girdle that most people think about. Some of the symptoms that cause that, that people can come in for is if their hands go numb all the way down their arms. If they've got pain that goes all the way down their arms too, if the arm just aches, people who sleep on their shoulders, if they sleep sideways and they have shoulder pain, elbow pain, a lot of people that have what's called tennis elbow, little league elbow, throwing elbow, stuff like that, that's all going to be coming from where we're talking about today. That's a major junction point that travels from the shoulder all the way down. I've even had some of the tricep muscles, although it's very uncommon, actually cause some migraine headaches that go from the back of the shoulder up to the head. So on here, if you want to look at the close-up here, the things that we really have to realize are, here's your lat muscle that sits right there. The teres major and minor sit underneath that, and they actually attach over to the bone, and that's where the inside tricep attaches in between. This is a major junction point for frozen shoulder as well, people who can't raise their arms up. Here's a good junction right there. A lot of your tricep and your deltoid muscles, those get stuck together as well as these, and that's what causes that shoulder joint to be tight. But then it tightens up the tricep muscle and pulls down into the elbow. A lot of people will have elbow pain. If they can't shake somebody's hand or something like that, and it shoots all the way up into there. We're going to show you how to get to the third head of the tricep, which is underneath. All of this, we're going to show you how to break all that loose today. This plays a really important part, like I said, in shoulder pain that shoots down, numbness and tingling that goes down, pain in the elbow right in through here. Can't lift a lot of things, that's what's going to be causing there. So that's a major junction point for a lot of the arm stuff. And that's what we're going to get to today. We're going to show you how to separate it, because a lot of times there's going to be a couple of different techniques. You're going to have to separate the muscle tissues apart from each other because they cross over, so like deltoid, tricep. We're going to have to split those and then get the knot. Teres major and minor, we're going to have to split those and then get the knot. And so that's what we're going to teach you today, and we're going to show you how to do that. Okay? All right, here we go. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to kind of draw where I'm going to be hitting all of the muscle tissue. It's really important to kind of know what we're looking at. So the green is going to represent the lat muscle, and that lat muscle attaches to here. Sorry if I tickle you, man. Comes up and then it attaches underneath. Okay, so that's where the lat muscle kind of goes, is right through here. The teres major and minor muscle sit underneath that and attach to the bone. So this one comes here, and then this one sits right next to it, and they cross, all right? So they kind of come to a point. That tricep muscle, that tendon, goes right in between them, is right in here, okay? So what we've got to do is we've got to separate the muscles here, get those to release before we can get the tricep if they're having that problem. So that's what we're going to do right now. There's a couple of different ways you can get into it. Using your fingers can separate it. I don't recommend that because it really is just pointed. I like the soft fist. You can even do the elbow, point of the elbow. I can show you how to do that as well. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is kind of palpate or feel around for that lat muscle, which there's his lat muscle right there. So we found that. And then you'll be able to feel the muscle that kind of T-shapes to the lat muscle. And that's going to sit right on the side of that scapula. So here's his shoulder blade, and it's right here. And that's where I'm actually going to put my fist, is right in here. And I'm going to show you how to bolster it too and show you the movement. So how you're going to do this is, now on this one you can't really go on a 45-degree angle. So you just got to kind of push straight in. You're going to kind of pin that muscle structure right against the rib cage. So that's what we're going to do right now. So I've got that right in there. And how you really know is when you move that arm up, you'll feel that shoulder blade want to push against my knuckle. So I'm going to reset right there. Bring it up. And it's not moving a lot. And where you're actually going to feel the release, I'm just shifting my hands around so it gets a little bit more comfortable, is you'll actually stretch it out here this way. But when you actually bring that down, you want to kind of squeeze it against your wrist. That's, oh, there it goes. It's going to lift. Or you can actually move the elbow up, roll it up, and then roll it down that way. So roll it up. See, and right here, when I actually roll it up, that's where the problem was right there. And sometimes we'll move it down to get some slack on it. Roll it up that way. This is really tight, and you just kind of keep rolling it. If you need to move it at all, you can kind of lift that around and move it. That's fine, but the big thing is you're going to want to stretch it out and bring it back down. And now it's starting. There we go. Did you feel that little pop? Okay. So on the stretch is when, and then when I first started contracting it, that's when the muscle broke loose. And it jumped right in through here. So now we can roll it both ways. Okay, see that? There we go. And that's how you get that teres major and minor muscle to open up. So then after that, then you can kind of start getting into that tricep area if you want to. The junction here is extremely painful. So once that lets go, it's going to take the tension off of the teres major and minor. And then you can start working on the tricep. If by chance it's not letting go and it's stuck, sometimes you'll just have to kind of go down and find that lip. And you can feel the lip. It's right in here. And you might have to pop that over, kind of just lift it up and over to get it to move. It's not happening that right now. It's loose right now. So now what I'm going to do is on the tricep muscle, I'm going to kind of do a little bit of some cross. I'm not going to go directly over it because what will happen is if I try and go that way, it'll flip, okay? It'll flip. So on this one, you kind of have to kind of go a little bit across, which is what we're supposed to do anyway. And I'm pushing down at a 45, and you'll be able to feel it. You don't have to push hard on this one. This is really sensitive, okay? But all I do is, and I'm not pushing really hard, I'm just kind of pinning it. But what I'm trying to do, okay, and then I'm going to let off a little bit of the pressure to let him straighten that arm. And then that's where I'm going to push down on it. So there's extending of the tricep and the contracting of it. And that's pretty tender right there. Pretty tender. You guys see his feet wobble and everything? Good. Good. Perfect. So all we're doing is now I'm just stretching it out, and sometimes you'll have to shift and adjust. There it is. So there's a stretch. Ah, there we go. Okay, feel that difference in there? See, it's a lot easier to straighten that arm out now. All right. So that's those two junctions. Then if you needed to go down farther, you could definitely go down farther on it. There could be a couple of different knots on the tricep, so you just kind of have to feel around and see what goes on. Now the outside tricep, we're going to come over this way. Let's see, we're going to draw a little bit here. So the deltoid muscle comes like this and attaches in, and that outside tricep attaches underneath it, all right? So right here is a big junction on that tricep. And that's what we need to, right here, we need to separate first. So how that goes, a lot of times, and in fact, I'm going to get a little stool so I can kind of show you. I'm out of the camera angle here. How you're going to do that, let's see. I gotta do, hold on. You can actually take your fingers and kind of feel where that tricep and that deltoid hit, right in here. Excuse me. And that's where you're going to want to get that knot. So how to do that is you kind of bring it into a contracted state for so it's an extended state for the tricep, and it's a contracted extended state for the deltoid. You're going to stick your knuckle right on that deltoid tricep, and then you're going to move it down, and you're going to kind of move it in a circle, just like that. Okay, we're just going to do it just like that. So we can straighten it out and kind of bring it back. It doesn't matter which exact way you go. You can feel that deltoid and that tricep trying to work on each other. Bam. Okay, so that just separated. Did you feel that, Josh? Okay, so we just got those to separate. Now, from a from like a working out gym area, a lot of times when this tightens up is when people are doing a lot of tricep and deltoid engagement. Okay, so like if they're doing dips, if they're doing tricep dips, if they're doing a lot of shoulder presses, anything that's contracting the tricep and the deltoid at the same time, this is generally what can get it really tight. From a sporting perspective, if somebody kind of like slides into second base and they jam their shoulder, it can cause that. People who do a lot of water skiing or something like this, that's because it's extending and you're using that tricep to tighten up along with the deltoid, all right? This junction is really crucial to really good range of motion movement to be able to straighten that arm back. I've actually had this tighten up on some people where they've been driving and they've just reached into the back seat of their car and it's cramped right there. Okay, it's locked together. So now the next thing, now you can see, so if you go back in your video, you can see how that is a lot more dented. Before it was kind of sucked together like this, and now there's actually a little bit of indentation there. That's beautiful. So now what we're going to do is get the tricep muscle. Now, Josh is a really big dude, so he takes up a lot of space on the table. I've actually had him move over to the right as far as possible. The thing that we got to remember is that elbow, pit of the elbow hits right on that table joint. So you got to be really careful with that. So here's what I suggest. A lot of the times, to help protect that joint right there, is I will take a bolster and I'll put it just like that, right across that elbow pit. Now what this does is it gives me actually more access to the tricep. What you're going to do is you're going to kind of roll that elbow back, so it's going to expose the tricep. Now you can't go directly down on it like this because of where it's at. All right, so I switched angles, and this is the angle that I like to do. So it was the shoulder was here, the elbow is here. I kind of move it into place, and I take that right on that angle, and you'll feel it. The outside tricep you're going to feel on most everybody. Now you're going to do the same thing. You're going to straighten up. Now I'm going to show you how I do it. I like coming like this. But for this filming purpose, I'm going to show you this direction so you can see what's going on. All right? So I'm going to stretch out. I'm not putting too much pressure here because when you bring it up and that muscle wants to contract, that's where it's going to really hurt. So you're going to want to just kind of have that knuckle, or you can do your palm, or I've even had my elbow sometimes on this, but I like the knuckle. We're going to straighten that out. We're going to put that pressure where it needs to be. We're going to stretch it. And then we're going to bring it back up. Now right there is as far as he can go, which is fine. Then we're going to take it back down again. Bring that up. There you go. So I'm right on it now. As you can tell, he's wiggling. Gotcha. There it went. Okay, how's that feel, Josh? A lot better? Yeah, that just sunk me in. Now you could just follow this up by kind of moving down a little bit more and everything else. That's going to be for the tricep shoulder. For the elbow, a lot of times, a lot of people don't have generally elbow pain in here. They get that elbow bone pain right out there. And where this is, that is the third head of the tricep. So what you got to do is on the outside of the tricep, you've actually got to do this kind of with your fingers, okay? So I'm going to kind of get down, and this is how we'll find it that way. So it's going to come like we're going to do the deltoid. But we're going to rotate here, and you're going to find where that tricep rolls and curls, and there's a little hole right underneath, and you'll be able to feel that deep tricep right there. Now, Josh, when I'm pushing here, does it radiate down or anything? Like, is it kind of going down? Yeah. So this is a major junction right in here. All right? So I'm going to show you. We come in this position because it's going to stretch it out, and then move it back straight, and sometimes it's going to try and kick you out. So on that one, it just rolled and kicked me out. So I've got to find this one. There we go, right there. And now, straighten it out. There she is. There we go. Okay, that was a pretty quick one. Usually if you find this one, and like I said, this one right here is really, really, really tight when people have, their bone just hurts. There's just this bone, like to shake hands here. So just go ahead and shake my hand right there. See all these muscles right there? That's where the junction pulls in. All right, so relax the grip. So right in there. And that's where we're going to get. That's what's going on. So then once you get the tricep muscle, then I kind of want to show you the deltoid. We release the deltoid in the back part, and we're just going to show you the back side or the posterior side of the deltoid, which is just right here. And you're going to do the exact same thing because the deltoid is a rotation muscle, and this is the easiest way I found to release it. And you can just go in and find that deltoid. Look, my hands are all crayon. Yep, okay. So here's his knot right in there. Now, you can rotate, and it's not actually that bad because we've been able to loosen everything else up. And with the deltoid, you're just going to want to roll. You can straighten the arm out if you want, but really it's designed to move all over. There it goes. It just jumped. Did you feel that? It just jumped off. So now notice the bolster's kind of getting all funky. If you come up to here, you're more than welcome just to take that bolster out because you're going to be moving it up here. When you're working with the tricep, I suggest you put that bolster underneath. It's just going to soften up the bicep part if also they have a bicep problem. And that's just right where the corner of the table hits their bicep. Okay? And that, look at that. See? Now we got all sorts of jiggling. Look at that. Okay, cool. We'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.